The wind carries the scent of failure. Borin lies flat on his belly, the cold grit of the steppe pressing into his skin, and tastes only dust. Below in the vast grassy basin, the herd moves like a single brown river. Giant bison, true megafauna of this age, their humped shoulders thick with muscle, their horns a fence of sharpened bone. There is enough meat and hide in that single herd to carry the clan through the long cold. But the herd is restless. 100 heads lift at once, nostrils twitching, tasting the air. They sense the hunters. They always sense them. For these early humans, a simple change in the wind is the difference between a full belly and a slow, gnawing death. This is the unforgiving nature of prehistoric life. He gives the signal a low whistle that mimics the marmot's call. It is the command to give up, to retreat. They have been stalking this herd for 2 days, and the moment of ambush never came. As the hunters pull back, their forms detaching from the earth and rock, a ripple of panic flows through the bison. It starts with one, then a dozen, then the entire river of flesh begins to move, a low rumble that builds into a thunderous stampede. The ground shudders. Another failed hunt. Hunger is a cold companion in the clan's cave, and its presence is growing stronger. As they trudge back through the withered grass, a new scent cuts through the dust. It's the smell of blood, not theirs. In their long pursuit, one of the younger hunters had managed a desperate, long-range spear throw, nicking a bison on the flank. It was not enough to slow the beast, but it was enough to leave a trail. And a trail of blood in this world is an invitation. A grating roar echoes from the rock formations to their left, a sound like boulders grinding together. Borin freezes the party with a raised fist. They know that sound. The Carnotaurus, the horned runner. It emerges from behind a clutch of granite tors, a nightmarish predator built for speed. Its head is a battering ram of teeth and brow horns. Its arms are pathetic, twitching afterthoughts, but its legs are pistons of muscle. It ignores the hunters completely, its gaze fixed on the horizon where the bison fled. It knows its head, sniffs the bloody trail, and begins to run, a terrifyingly fast, jerky stride that devours the landscape. It is the devil that follows them, the scavenger king that profits from their failures. It will find the weakened bison, and it will claim the kill. They are merely beaters for a greater, faster predator. The weight of this truth settles on the hunters, heavier than any stone. They are becoming irrelevant in the great chain of life and death, the footnote in Hominid. The fire in the central cave is a small, sullen eye offering little warmth and less hope. The hunters sit apart, their silence a heavy cloak. Their failure on the steppe has soured the very air of the shelter. In this world, before humans were masters, every hunt is a prayer, and the gods are not answering. The study of anthropology would call this a society in crisis, a community whose fundamental survival strategy is failing. But to them, it is just hunger. A child whimpers in the darkness, a thin, sharp sound that cuts through the quiet. Borin stares into the flames, his face a mask of granite, seeing only the mocking horns of the Carnotaurus and the endless empty plains. Their ancient tools are sharp, but their tactics are stale. Una, the clan shaman, watches him from her place by the cave wall. Her face is a road map of wrinkles. Each line a story of a winter survived, a birth witnessed, a death mourned. She is the keeper of the clan's memory, the one who sees the patterns others miss. Her gaze shifts to a small child, Lenny, who sits humming softly to one of the clan's half-wild dogs. The dog, a gaunt and scarred creature prone to snapping, has its head in the child's lap, its eyes closed in a state of perfect contentment. This is Lenny's gift, her strangeness. Where others inspire fear or aggression in the beasts of the world, Lenny inspires a placid calm. It is an unnerving, unnatural talent. Una rises, her bones creaking, and approaches the main fire. The bison are not deaf, Borin, she says, her voice a dry rustle of leaves. They hear your feet. They hear your feet. They smell your fear. Borin grunts, not looking at her. The wind is always wrong because your spirit is loud, she counters. She points a bony finger at Lenny. She has a quiet spirit, the beasts do not fear it. The other hunters stir, their expressions a mixture of confusion and superstitious fear. His eyes hard. She is a child. She is a key, Uni insists, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. The core of her shamanism is not magic, but a deep, intuitive reading of the natural and unnatural world. You will fail again. The horned runner will feast, or you will hunt with a new weapon. The plan she lays out is madness, a blasphemy against every rule of the hunt. They would approach the herd not with stealth, but openly. Lenny will walk with them ahead of them. Her presence, her strange calming gift, will act as a shield, soothing the herd's anxiety, allowing the hunters to get close enough for a killing blow. To use a child as a lure, as a tool, is a horrifying choice. It is a sacrifice laid on the altar of survival. Boren clenches his fists. He sees the gaunt faces around him. He hears the child's hungry whimper. What is the life of one, even a child with a strange gift, against the life of the clan? It is a cruel calculation. He sees in Lena's power a form of atavism, a dangerous and wild echo of a time before men and beasts were enemies. To use it is to gamble with forces they do not understand. He looks at Unis's blinking eyes, then at the sleeping child. "We go at dawn," he says, the words tasting like ash. The rising sun bleeds across the horizon, painting the steppe in hues of orange and grey. The bison herd is a dark, slumbering mass in the morning mist. Boren and his 5 best hunters move slowly, their spears held low. 20 paces ahead of them walks Lenny, a small, solitary figure in the immense landscape. The child shows no fear, only a quiet focus, her eyes fixed on the giant beasts. As they draw closer, a few of the bison lift their massive heads, their dark eyes watching the approaching child. A low rumble starts in the chest of a great bull, a warning. But Lenny does not stop. She continues her steady, calm advance. The bull watches, its tail twitches, but the rumble subsides. The herd does not spook. It is a miracle. Lenny is a shepherd walking among giants. Boren's heart hammers against his ribs. It is working. They are closer now than they have ever been, close enough to see the coarse texture of the bison's fur, to smell the warm, animal scent of the herd. He picks his target, a large female on the edge of the group. He raises his hand, the signal to prepare. At that exact moment, the ground begins to tremble with a different rhythm. A grating roar shatters the morning calm. The Carnotaurus. He bursts from a shallow ravine, a streak of horned fury, drawn by the scent of so much concentrated life. The bison herd erupts into chaos. But the predator is not charging the herd. It sees the vulnerable humans. It sees the child. There is no time to think. Boren screams Lenny and breaks into a desperate sprint. The other hunters are right behind him, their spears now defensive tools against a nightmare. The Carnotaurus is impossibly fast, its head lowered like a bull, the large fenestree in its skull giving it a ghastly, skeletal appearance. It is about too close on Lenny when the great bison bull, startled from its trance and enraged by the predator's sudden appearance, not at the humans, but at the humans, but at the humans, but at the Carnotaurus, the two titans collide with a sickening crunch of bone and flesh. It is a battle of prehistoric animals, a raw, bloody spectacle. Boren snatches Lenny, pulling her back as the hunters from a protective circle. They watch, stunned, as the bison drives its horns into the predator's flank. The Carnotaurus shrieks, twisting its powerful neck to bite at the bull. In this chaos, a new form of hunting is born, a symbiotic relationship forged in terror. They are no longer just hunters. They are the agents of chaos, using one monster to fight another. The struggle between the two great beasts gives them the opening they need. As the wounded Carnotaurus stumbles back, Boren and the others rush forward, not at the predator, but at the distracted bison herd. They drive their spears into 2 other bison, their aim true and deadly. The wounded animals bellow and fall. The hunters retreat, dragging Lenny with them, leaving the dying bull and the injured Carnotaurus to their brutal ballet. They have their kill. They did not achieve it through stealth or strength, but by weaponizing a child's strange gift into predator's blind aggression. This is human evolution not as a steady march, but as a series of desperate, opportunistic leaps. The line between humanity and the animal world has always been a shifting one. We see it in the eyes of a loyal dog, in the cautious respect of a wild creature. But what if that line could be blurred entirely? What if one of our own could speak the silent language of instinct? The gift of a child like Lenny is not magic. It is a key, unlocking a potential that would forever alter our place in the food chain. This was the birth of domestication, not as an act of dominance, but of empathy. It was the moment our ancestors learned that the greatest power was not in the sharpest spear, but in the quietest voice, the one that could calm the storm in a wild heart. We became the apex predator, not when we learned to understand and manipulate the intricate, violent web of life around us. Their survival depended on seeing a child's strange gentleness, not as a weakness, but as the most profound weapon of all. This is the chronicle of our ascent, not a grand march, but a desperate crawl written in the language of stone, sinew, and stars. And some beasts can never be tamed.